La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Thank you, thank you.
John Senesi to also lead us in the Christian prayer.
Let us start by saying, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord God, as we are gathered here today, you have said it in your book, that where two or three are gathered, and they call upon your name, you will be there. We are asking that you be with us throughout this ceremony. We hold these eyes, O Lord, that no rain will come to disturb us until the end of this ceremony. This and all other mercies we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Naturally, we had an imam and we also had a pastor in our midst. So thank you very much for those wonderful prayers. My name is Momodin Jai, and I'll be your MC for the next couple of minutes, probably. This is going to be a very brief program. Like I said, you are all welcome to this important kickoff being held at a very important place, that is SOS Children's Village, which is very dear to this campaign. But first, I wish to recognize the presence of very important personalities, notably staff from the Ministry of Health. We have in our midst Mr. Lamin Fati. Please give him a round of applause. He is also here in our midst from the Ministry of Health. Also, we have Dr. Samuel Mills. Mr. Samuel Mills, or Dr. Samuel Mills, here represents the World Bank, and of course, one of the key players in this very important project being held in this country. Please give him a round of applause also. Away from Doctor, I would also want to recognize the presence of the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the National Health Insurance Scheme will be run by the National Health Insurance Authority, of course, in partnership with the stakeholders. This is a newly formed authority, and it's important for all of you to know that this authority also exists and now has a CEO, who is no other than Bai Marsen. Please give him a round of applause. Of course, not forgetting our host, the director of SOS Gambia. He's also in our midst, sitting right behind me. Please give him a round of applause also. To the Alcalo of Bakoteh, and all parents, community leaders, representatives of various institutions, and of course, media partners covering this very important event. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocols respectfully observed, you are all welcome to this very important occasion. Please clap for yourself for making it to this event. Now, I would wish to welcome the Alcalo of Bakoteh to give us his welcoming remarks. Alcalo of Bakoteh. Can we have the Alcalo of Bakoteh, please?
Oh, a representative? Is it?
Buba, do we have the Alcalo of Bakoteh?
Councillor, yes?
If not, we can have... Is he around?
That's the councillor.
Oh, that's the councillor. Okay, we can have the councillor to deliver a remark. That's the welcoming remark. Please give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC, for giving me the opportunity. And on behalf of the Alkali and the community of Bakoteh, we would like to welcome you all to the SOS Children's Village. First, I will want to recognize the presence of the SOS director and the World Bank representative and the CEO of the project, and I mean the children of SOS and their mothers. And on that note, I welcome you all. Today marks a very important day in the history of the Gambia. This is a project that we've all been yearning for. This is a development that Gambia can boast of within the sub-region. On that, I will commend the Ministry of Health or his representative, and my regards to the head of state, the President of the Republic, for coming up with this scheme, these important events that need to be cherished by every Gambian. It's a project that every Gambian should embrace, and we should not embezzle it or use it in a way that it is not proper. So I would like to thank everyone and call on every Gambian to come up and embrace this event or this opportunity so that we can see it as a national project and it's a successful one. Thank you all.
Very much, Mr. Councillor, for those strong words. I wish to remind the gathering that His Excellency the President of the Republic, who is also the Commander-in-Chief, will also be doing the formal launching of this very important campaign. But luckily enough, SOS Children's Village, so dear to the heart of the ministry and of course the project itself, I could say we are all lucky here today to have this event prior. But just to remind that His Excellency the President also will be doing the grand launching also. Now, a quick reminder of the National Health Insurance Scheme and of course the electronic civil registration and vital statistics. We are all aware that in the past, when you go for registration of birth certificates, this is done electronically, or astaghfirullah, this is done manually rather, wherein your information is recorded on books, on papers for many years. But luckily enough, this is set to change now. And that is why it is called the electronic civil registration and vital statistics. It is now going to digitize the whole registration process and make each and every resident of this country or Gambian now in the database called the electronic civil registration and vital statistics. So you can now imagine we will now have our data instead of only on paper, but we will also be able to have it electronically. Thanks to the government and the World Bank for this beautiful initiative. Please give them a round of applause. Side by side, going with the electronic civil registration is also the National Health Insurance Scheme. The National Health Insurance Scheme will also avail Gambians the opportunity to have a health insurance, and it's extended to all residents of the Gambia, Gambians or non-Gambians. Anybody that resides in this country is eligible when you enroll in the NHIS, which is under the National Health Insurance Authority. But like I said earlier, this is just to give you a better understanding. But the message out there should be very clear. Everybody, every Gambian, including from the head of state to every individual, from Banjul to Koina to Kiang to Basse to Buyam to Amdalai, every region of this country, all Gambians, whether you have, whether you don't have a birth certificate, you are all encouraged and you are all asked to go out and register during this period. So it's important that everybody is aware. You don't have to sit and say, I have already got my birth certificate. That is an old birth certificate now. We are now going into the digital age, thanks to the government and the World Bank. Please give them one more round of applause now. Next on the itinerary for the speeches, I would wish to call on the registrar at the Ministry of Health, Mr. Lamin Fati, to make a brief remark on this very important and auspicious occasion. Please give Mr. Fati a big round of applause, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to you all. This is an opportunity for us to be here on behalf of the Ministry of Health, representing the Minister and the entire team who wish to be here but couldn't due to tight schedules. And the Permanent Secretary also had initially alerted us he will be here to join and grace this occasion, but because of the busy schedule in Banjul, he couldn't be with us. On that, we thank and recognize our partners, Dr. Mail, the World Bank Group, head of the Health Task Force team, also head of the World CRVS, and our host, the director, Mr. Kwame of SOS, the Alcalo, the entire media fraternity, the public and the participants, the service providers, and the general public. It's an opportunity in the life history of the Gambia for us to graduate from manual to digital format. One will say registration is new in the Gambia. No, that's a limited site. Registration had been in existence in the country as far back as 1880s, to speak 1816, that Gambia had been registering and then offering this vital service to the population. But access to it was a challenge to the entire population. And then also, as time goes by, keeping those records and then retrieving them become a big challenge for both the government and the applicants or the candidates. The statistics also, availability of credible statistics is also a challenge. So with the coming of this digital, it is here to address multiple problems and also have many benefits both to the government and to the candidates. One, it will create a population database geared towards a population register, where all the vital events will be captured and stored for reference purposes. And also we should know that registering somebody, you have fulfilled the legal identity. As a statement goes by the then Madiba, he said, some individual in this world will be invincible. And when he was asked, why would you say they will become invincible? He said, they will pass by on this earth and return without a trace when there is no record about them. And this happens when you register manually and then the records happen to be lost, and it's not properly archived. Such individuals will be called invincible people because there won't be any trace. Coming with this digital format, it will enhance the system to create a permanent, continuous, and a confidential record about individuals and give them rights and give them sense of belonging and identity. And then it creates an atmosphere that no one is left behind, no one should become stateless, and the data will be reliably accessible, and it could be shared with the partners for decision-making processes. That's why we want to align ourselves with the National Health Insurance Scheme, which you know that is a vital service, which you know that nobody can go without it. We know that health is indispensable. Providing a document that will give them access to that one is very important in everybody's life. That's why the government of the Gambia, with the support from the World Bank, decided to join this mass registration, giving electronic birth certificates or the registration of that one and the health insurance, making them concurrently at one go. It will reduce the resources that will be used by the government and also the time spent by the applicant. So once you are there, it becomes one-step shop that you can have all these materials given to you. The only information we want to give more is that the applicant should be present at the site of registration, because there is an area they should be present, they need to be captured, including their facial features. That should be taken, facial image will be taken, And if applicants are coming, if they are adults, they need to come with a supporting document. This includes national identity card, a birth certificate, a passport. In the absence of this one, attestation from the alcalo, and infant welfare care for children that are not yet matured. So these are the documents that you need to come. If it's a young person less than 18, he or she needs to be accompanied by one of the parents or a caregiver. It's a legal documentation and it has its own legal implications. Birth certificate will be given to all legible Gambians or children born to Gambians or non-Gambians in the Gambia. But health insurance will be given to all residents in the Gambia who stay within the immigration limits, 6 months and above or 3 months and above minimum will be eligible to be given a national health insurance and be served. So we have to know that these are legal documentations. The team will only ask few questions to verify the information given. What we are telling the general public is that any information given here should be credible, because giving false information is illegal in terms of legal documentations. And there are penalties attached to those ones. We are not scaring you, but we are saying when you are coming, be sure that information you're giving are credible and reliable. You don't have to give double information if you don't know yourself. And if you are not legible, don't come forward on that one. But here, our approach is that everybody will be legible. Those who should have the birth certificate will be given, and all will be given health insurance cards. So there is no somebody who will come and go home empty. Everybody will have something to go with. Therefore, we urge every individual, those here today, and then also inform the general public that will be coming and moving from one community to another using IAC registration centers, where we'll be there for a specific period. We are urging every individual to ensure that when they are at your community, if you cannot have this service here today, ensure that the service is that has come to your doorstep, you utilize it at the time they're there. Otherwise, the opportunity given now, if that should go away, you may have to have some implication of cost and time. For example, this registration is free of charge. The government, with the support from the World Bank, is providing the services free of charge. The certificate will be given free, the insurance cards will be given free. But there will be cost implication after this exercise. Obviously, we need to have a user fee to ensure that service continues. So therefore, we are urging every Gambian now to seize this opportunity and avail himself or herself at the registration centers, particularly when they are in your community. You register timely, you give yourself little time because it's a process, and answer the questions they will ask you, the approving officer or the data entry class will ask you, and you organize yourself into group in a mannerly order so that you can have access and then you don't create chaos at the service point. On that note, we thank you all and urge all of you to register timely.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lamin Fati. I would not call that a speech because it just came like that. And I wish to also say that the greatest of speeches are speeches that just come naturally. You don't have to prepare for it. And this is always what my mentor Barack Obama usually does. He doesn't do preparing any speech. He just comes on the ground and say it as it is. So please give Mr. Lamin Fati a big round of applause, please. Now, Mr. Fati had given you a gist of how the registration is supposed to be done. And I will just want to remind key points to myself and everyone here that the registration is open to everybody. So let us all take that message. It is open to everybody. That is all residents of the Gambia, from Banjul to KMC to North Bank region, to LRR, to CRR, North and South, to Upper River region, you name it. So everybody is included and everybody has to register during this exercise. Now he has also made a rundown of the requirements that you need. I think every individual here must have gotten a birth certificate. If not a birth certificate, a passport. If not a passport, an ID card. If not an ID card, you can get an alcalo attestation. So the list goes on and on and on. So this is what you will need to present at the point of registration. So it's important that I reiterate those points, because there are some people who are sitting behind and they're saying the audio was a little bit too low. But I wish to say that for us, this is our job. So if it means we have to shout, we will shout for all of you to hear the message. But luckily enough, I think the message is very clear coming from Mr. Lamin Fati of the Ministry of Health. Please give him one more round of applause again. Now, I now welcome the SOS Director to also give a brief remark. Mr. Director, please welcome. Please give him a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Lamin Fati from the Ministry of Health, Mr. Bison, Mr. Mills from the World Bank, Honorable Alcalo, honorable guests, good morning, everyone. We are very happy this morning to be here, to be part of this memorable event. We all know that birth registration and record of individuals is part of the basic human rights. And we are very happy as well Children's Villages to host this kickoff event for this electronic registration for the population of the Gambia. Believe me, in West Africa and Central Africa that I know a little bit more, you are very lucky to have those electronic documentation, which is really at the age of innovation in our region. So I'm very grateful as the National Director of SOS Children's Villages in the Gambia to the government of the Gambia for this initiative and for the support of the World Bank. I wish every one of you a good stay for the couple of minutes or how you're going to spend in our facility. It's also an opportunity for you to see what we are currently doing for children and young people in this country as we're celebrating this year our 40th anniversary of operations in the Gambia. Welcome to everyone. I will just stop there and wish you a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director, Jean-Pierre Kwame, for that beautiful remark, which of course also draws this curtain to the formal program here at the SOS Children's Village. And now we will just shift to the practical aspect of it, where registration will continue. Mr. Buba, if you could just be around so we could have the program progress now. So I'm informed that the registration now will start with the SOS family. So you can start having a queue at the registration site for the registration proper. Then all other guests can also follow queue. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that draws an end to this brief program. And we wish to thank everybody for coming, from the World Bank to the Ministry of Health officials, parents, and all individuals here present. And of course, PCU for a job well done, and the Ministry of Health. Thank you very much. Now we have the formal registration proper to take place. Thank you.